Hello everybody and welcome to South Florida and our tiki hut on a beautiful, warm, subtropical breeze day, and I lost another pound. Hello everybody and welcome to the Honor and Knowledge channel. This is the weekly update for my natural weight loss journey that I call the Hungry Strike for America. Why? Well, because I'm losing 50 pounds between the beginning of July of last year, about July 4th of 2025, until the end of October of this year. 50 pounds, 50 states, makes me healthy again, and in my mind, there is a direct connection between me successfully losing 50 pounds without any injections or pills or medical assistance by operations, losing 50 pounds the natural way through exercise and controlling what I eat, fewer calories, and the Republicans maintaining control of the House and the Senate. Yep, I want Speaker Johnson to stay as the Speaker of the House and the Republicans to still have control over who gets to pick judges. Yes, I got to put another star on the official Hungry Strike for America sign. And I got to color in another state in the order in which they voted for President Trump in the 2024 election. In position number 33, Minnesota. Believe it or not, 46 point something or other percent, 46.68% actually, voted for President Trump in 2024. And because I get to color in the state, I did it orange, just like New Hampshire last week. Why orange? Well, because it didn't go for President Trump, but not that far away from being red. Minnesota is an extremely interesting state. I mean, we've seen lots of news about Minnesota, the fraud, their governor, Walz, other things, Ilhan Omar. They are actually pretty well divided in half. In fact, in their state legislature, there are 67 Republicans and 67 Democratic Party members. Actually, in Minnesota, they don't technically have just the straight Democratic Party. They have what they call the Democratic Farm and Labor Party. It's a bunch of history. They had separate parties that all were progressive, and so they joined forces. And in the Minnesota Senate, the Democratic Farm Labor Party has one more seat than the Republicans, 34 DFL and 33 Republicans. And there are 4 House members from the Republican Party and 4 House members from the DFL/Democratic Party. 2 senators, both Democrat, from the state of Minnesota. One of them is Senator Klobuchar, not up for re-election in 2026. Senator Tina Smith is not running for re-election. She's decided to not do that, which makes perfect sense. The last time Senator Tina Smith ran was in 2020, obviously, and she won by about 5%. So not that huge of a margin, and the Minnesota primary is not occurring until August 11th. Therefore, we really don't know who the Republican candidate or the Democrat Farm Labor candidate is. Even though the Democrat Farm Labor Party had their caucus, yep, in Minnesota they have caucuses, like we hear about in Iowa, and the people in that party voted for Flanagan, who is the lieutenant governor, to be their candidate, even though other members of their party get to be on the primary. So the official selection by the people of Minnesota for the Democratic Farm Labor Party candidate for the 2026 Senate election comes on August 11th during the primary. And before we leave the DFL party, recognize that Ilhan Omar endorsed Lieutenant Governor Flanagan to be the Senate candidate from the DFL party. So I don't think that's a great endorsement. The Republican primary is actually going to be a lot more interesting, and I actually think it's going to help an awful lot getting the Republican candidate, whoever wins the primary on August 11th, to get voted in as the new senator from Minnesota. Why? Because all the talking and the inner fighting in the Republican Party is going to be good to be in the press, and whoever is the winner of the primary for the Republicans will have great name recognition. So speaking of that, there are 3 candidates really for the Republicans. The person who was endorsed by the Republican Party in the state of Minnesota received the caucus winning vote is a former Marine, Adam Schwarze. So the lead candidate against him is Michelle Tafoya, who actually had higher poll ratings, and so therefore her not winning the caucus vote was a surprise. She had a lot more money, and she was endorsed by the National Republican Senatorial Committee. But the Republican Party of Minnesota through their caucus system, endorsed Adam Schwarze. So, two people, they're both up in the primary. Don't know who's going to win yet. However, I have to admit, I'm pro-Marine, so you can tell who I'm in favor of. However, this is totally up to the people of Minnesota. There is a third person running, a former NBA player, Royce White. Royce White, interesting enough, has been endorsed by Mike Lindell. We all know him. He's the CEO of the My Pillow Company. And also, Mike Lindell is running for governor in 2026 in Minnesota. Very interesting races shaping up in Minnesota. But we really won't know, like I said before, who the candidate is for Senate for both sides until after the August 11th primary. Now, with regard to the House, the four Republican congressmen from Minnesota are Brad Finstad, Tom Emmer, the House Majority Whip, Michelle Fishback, who grew up in Woodbury, Minnesota, and I actually spent a year living there, working for a company headquartered in downtown Minneapolis. And the fourth one is Pete Stauber. All four look to me like they deserve greatly being reelected in their House districts. Then we have the four Democrats, Angie Craig, Kelly Morrison, Betty McCollum, and Ilhan Omar. Which one, if we had our wish, do we think would be great for our country to not be going back? Minnesota could really do us a big favor, but doesn't appear to me that anything's going to change in the House seats in the state of Minnesota. So to sum up Minnesota, it's going to be a lot of fun watching what happens in Minnesota, both the primary on August 11th and the actual election in November. Besides the governor's race, there's that open Senate seat. Definitely a possibility for the Republicans. Better than 50-50 in my book of the Republicans picking up this seat because of how atrocious the fraud has been and the governance, the oversight by the government with regard to finding fraud, and it looks to me like they've been supporting it, actually. So, I lost another pound, 33 pounds gone, 17 left to go. My main thing for doing it was continuing my exercise, controlling the food still, and adding as much walking as I can, even though it is a little painful. But you know what? I just go slow. I go 2.5 miles an hour, I think I said in a previous weekly video. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for your time. I greatly appreciate it. God bless President Trump and his administration. Price of oil, where was it before the Iran conflict started? $66 a barrel. So it's only got to go down another $10 a barrel, which I think it will do next week. Why? Well, because we'll be giving the Iranians another week to prove that they really don't want to disturb the world as much as they have before. Pray for the military. They're still out there. God bless the United States of America. Thank you for watching the Honor and Knowledge channel. Goodbye.